Hi, my name is Andriana, and this personal narrative is about how I figured out who I was and my personal journey of discovering my purpose in life. This is the beginning of a long journey of self recognition and self acknowledgement, and really figuring out who I am as a woman and becoming the woman I wanted to be. I am a domestic violence survivor and I am a single mother. And I was around 20 when I got pregnant and 21 when I had him. I was in a violent relationship with my child's father for about 6 years. And I tell this story not wanting to gain sympathy, but wanting to let people know my strength and be able to help people in other situations, which is, again, the purpose I feel like I have in life. Um, it was a hard situation for me to be in, but the discovery was amazing, and I hope to achieve amazing outcomes from telling this story. So, again, I was 20 when I got pregnant, and I was with my child's father for a total of 6 years. But within like 2 years of that situation, that's when he became abusive. And unfortunately, during this time, I was pregnant. I was around 4 to 6 months pregnant. And I remember being verbally abused, emotionally abused by him. He always used to call me names and banter. Not fresh into our relationship because we knew each other when we were younger and we were actually friends, but maybe into a year into our relationship. But I really loved him and I wanted to stick by him. So when I was pregnant, it was an altercation or an argument that we had that I can vividly remember. Not every detail, but of course the actions that happened that night. We were laying in bed, and I don't know where the argument started, but he ended up choking me. And he choked me for maybe about, it felt like 2 minutes, but it was probably maybe about 10, 15 seconds. Still too long, but yeah, it was frightening. I was terrified. I didn't understand why he was doing this. I didn't understand what I deserved to be going through this, but it happened and I stayed for 4 more years. I moved out of the state with him, and it honestly was the worst decision of my life. During this time, the abuse got worse, but I was determined to get out of that situation because I was just not that type of person to be beat down, to be broken. So I had to do what I had to do to get out of that situation. And by this time, my son was 2 years old, and I felt like raising a young man in this situation just, it was not gonna happen. I was not gonna raise a son or a future man to be like his father. He wasn't the person I thought he was, and that just motivated me to go harder. And it was the hardest thing in my life. I was in love. I didn't want to break our family apart. I didn't want my son to not have his father, but also I wasn't willing to risk my life and risk being out of my child's life because he almost killed me multiple times. And the last time he ever hit me, he choked me. And he choked me really bad. And I was like, no, I have to leave. I almost died in that situation, but that helped me figure out how strong I was to be able to leave. A lot of people don't understand that's like the most dangerous time to be in a domestic violence situation, but it was the last time. So I did what I had to do. I joined a program. I faced embarrassment of being that woman that was abused. I lost everything. I had to start over, but I did it, and it was hard, but I gained so much confidence, and I realized, like, yo, I'm strong, like I'm a soldier. So everything I do is to help other people, especially women, Black women that go through abuse. And I figured out, like, me going through that hard time, it was so hard. It was just the worst moment of my life, but it helped me become who I am today, and it just helped me become a better mother, and a better person. So if anybody is in a domestic violence relationship, know that you can get out. There is help, and even though you may feel alone, you're not alone. And that child, if you are a mother, they need you to be strong. So that's what I learned, and that's how I became who I am.